Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. A bitch is back talking about books. It is 9:44 p.m. and I just woke up from a nap. Yeah, 9:44 p.m. I just woke up from a 2-hour nap and I have work tomorrow in the morning at 6 a.m. So yeah, guess who's not getting any sleep tonight? Today, what we're going to be talking about is Vicious by VE Schwab. It's one of the books that I've read recently, fairly recently, that I thoroughly enjoyed. I read this around a month ago, which kind of sucks because I wish that I had done this review fresh off the dome when I had just read it. Because I really feel like after finishing a book, making these reviews is kind of a therapeutic experience. I don't know if I'm being over dramatic, but I feel like after reading a book, you know, you're with these characters, you're with this story, you're in this world. You get invested in it. No matter if you're only reading the book for a day or it takes you a month to read that book, having to let that all go, bring yourself out of that story, it feels kind of like a grieving process. And doing YouTube videos kind of helps me with that. I know I'm being a little bit dramatic, but it's true. It's true for me, okay? I absolutely loved this book. I think it was really, really well done, and I honestly have almost little to no flaws about it. I think it's not an insane, amazing page turner, but when you look at the grand scheme of things, the way that the characters are written, the way that the story is set up, the writing, there's not much that you can say that's very negative about this book, at least in my opinion. Yeah, I gave it a 5 stars. I think that the magic system in this is really, really compelling, and the characters very nuanced. The things that they talk about with morality and immorality, good and evil, it's very good, very good. So if you don't know what Vicious is about, it follows a dual timeline between 10 years previous and the present. In the 10 years previous timeline, it follows 2 college roommates named Victor and Eli. Okay, fun fact, I just looked up Victor and Eli's wiki fandom pages, and I realized that Victor is a Capricorn and Eli is a Leo, and that is the dynamic between my sister and I, and I'm like, oh my god, this is like, no wonder why I like this so much. I don't know, but it also makes sense. Victor is Mr. Blondie Man, and Eli is Mr. Brunette, handsome man. They are college roommates, and they have to do a thesis for their professor. I don't exactly know what their thesis is, but they get to choose whatever topic that they want. Eli chooses the idea of this thing in this world, kind of similar to X-Men vibes. That thing that he wants to study is the idea of extraordinaries. It's something in this book that is kind of like Bigfoot or the Yeti or mermaids, you know, things that people have rumors about, but nobody has actually had any proof that these beings exist. And so Eli wants to study how extraordinaries come about, if they're actually real. When Victor and Eli are in college, Eli also has a girlfriend. What's her name? Named Angie. And Victor kind of has resentment towards Eli because, first of all, he's Mr. Pretty Boy, Mr. Gets everything that he wants type of situation. And Eli kind of stole Victor's girl. Victor had a crush on Angie. And Eli and Angie are kind of dating each other. And Eli and Victor are quote-unquote best friends and roommates, but they have this sort of dynamic where they're always competing with each other. They're always trying to, you know, they're jealous of each other, kind of. Like, it's a low-key bromance. It's a bromance vibes. So in college, 10 years previous, because in this dual timeline, Eli starts researching extraordinaries and finds out that the way that extraordinaries in theory can be made is through death. Literally killing yourself and then coming back to life. And that kind of brink of excessive pain and trauma to the body and mind, having that sort of mix creates extraordinary powers. This is a theory that Eli has, but Victor's like, let's do it. Let's try to become extraordinaries. Let's put it to the test. And so Eli and Victor start trying to kill themselves Yeah, very unhinged. And I loved it. I loved it. They start trying to kill themselves. Victor tries first, and they do it in a way. Victor was drinking, so the powers didn't set in. He didn't get any extraordinary powers, even though he literally killed himself. He swallowed a bottle of pills, and then Eli had to resuscitate him. Then Eli kills himself by bathing in an ice bath, dying from hypothermia, and then having to get brought back to life. He gets healing powers. And so they find out that extraordinaries are actual real people, and they actually exist. And Eli has become one of them by killing himself and coming back to life. So Victor gets jealous, tries to kill himself again, brings Angie into it, aka Eli's girlfriend, brings Angie into it, and has her kill Victor again and bring him back to life by electrocuting him. And then Victor gets powers, and it's just such an unhinged story. And I do not want to get into the plot details of this, but let me just say that the magic system of this was so simple, yet so engrossing and interesting that I really, really loved it. I really loved it. And it had that darkness to it that was on the verge of kind of being over the top and funny, but like, so good. I don't know what it was about it. Like, the things that happened with this was just so extra, but I loved it. So Victor gets powers. And his powers are pain. He can either bring an insane amount of pain to someone, or he can take away somebody's pain. When he comes back alive from being electrocuted to death, Angie's in the same room as Victor, and Victor accidentally kills Angie because he doesn't know how to control this power of pain. He causes Angie so much pain that she dies from it, and Eli blames Victor, calls the cops on Victor, and Victor goes to jail for 10 plus years. So then the dual timeline goes from them in college, finding out about extraordinaries, then 10 years later, Victor getting out of college and having a vendetta against Eli, and trying to stop Eli and kill him and get revenge, basically. Get his revenge. All the side characters are also very, very compelling. 10 years later, we follow Eli's story as well. You find out that within the 10 years, Eli has not aged a day after college, which is very interesting, and it makes sense because if you have healing powers, your body also heals. You're not going to get wrinkles because it will just heal it. Like, wrinkles are kind of onset trauma to your skin, and if your skin heals, you're not gonna grow old, which I don't know why. I was like, that makes so much sense, but of course he wouldn't age. But yeah, Eli has not aged a day within the 10 years, and he's dating this college girl named Sydney, and Sydney is also an extraordinary, and Eli has a mission. He thinks he is God's gift to the world. He has a mission that he wants to kill every single extraordinary person that there is out there. Every single person with powers. Sydney is one of those people, but Sydney has the power of mind control. So she meets Eli. Eli's hot. Okay? Eli is hot. He is so hot, and Sydney likes him, but her power is mind control or compulsion. So she compels Eli every single day to not kill her, and they start a relationship together. I fucked up. The whole time I said Sydney, I meant Serena. I'm so fucking stupid. Anyway, so Serena has the power of mind control, and Serena and Eli start a relationship, and they go out into the world together trying to kill every single extraordinary person that they can. They bring the police into it. Serena compels the police to get behind Eli and say that Eli is God's gift to humanity. I will stop there with the synopsis, and you can read it for yourself to see how this story unfolds. So let me start with my likes, because most of this is actually just likes. I really liked this book a lot. The dynamic between Eli and Serena, why did it remind me, if you have ever seen anime, if you've ever seen the anime Death Note, why did Eli and Serena remind me so much of Light and Misa and Light and Misa's dynamic? Reading this book and reading the dynamic between Eli and Serena, I felt like this book was Death Note fanfiction. I swear to God. The dynamic between Eli and Serena was so much like them in my eyes. I was just like, yeah, Death Note fanfic. I really thought that even though this is a kind of a simple way to create powers, right? The concept of it was very, very interesting because the actual powers that you attain from your death and coming back to life has to do with your thought process as you are dying. So the entire time when Victor was dying, he thought about he just wanted the pain to stop. And guess what? When he woke up, he had the power to reduce or bring pain to people. And I really just thought that that concept was so interesting. And I find that a lot of the ideas in this book are just very compelling in that way. I think that the dual timeline worked for this book because things unravel in a manner where you want to keep reading and find that you want to answer those questions about what's going on. I also think that the side characters were also very, very well developed in the way that, yeah, you don't know everything that's going on in their head, but you understand why they are the way that they are and what their motives are and everything else. So, for example, Serena has a sister, and it's really like best friends and siblings rivaling each other, and this is just such a good friends to enemies story. I like that the story wasn't super complicated. It was just one thread and we follow that. It was just Victor trying to get revenge on Eli, and the whole story is that one goal and trying to follow through in that. With Eli, I thought that he was so sociopathic, such a good character, as well as Victor, and the idea of morals of good and evil in this were really well done. I think that there were a lot of quotable lines. I'm pretty sure you've heard all over Goodreads, or I'm pretty sure if I opened one of the lines, and I'll probably see it on Goodreads. For example, Eli thinks he is doing God's gift to humanity. He thinks that he is the chosen one. And he's so sociopathic for that, but I really feel like it's really fitting for his character. He is religious, and that this book was a great, morally gray type of situation, and the end of it hit. It was great. I think you should give it a chance. I really liked it. It's a fantasy book, and I think the writing was great. I thought all of the characters were very, very interesting, even the side characters, and there's just so much nuance to it and the idea of good and evil. So I would absolutely recommend this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, I guess. This book is so unhinged in the way that Serena literally tries to kill her sister, Sydney. Literally shoots her in the head anyway. I just bought the second book. I am very excited to read that, but I do really, really like this book. So please let me know if you've read it. Yeah, the vibes of this were so cool and so nice. I love the character work that they do here and the visual that you get. For example, Eli has a god complex, and this is what he says. Your power is unnatural. Do you understand, Sydney? It goes against nature, against God. And this is for the greater good. He literally thinks he's doing God's gift to humanity. Like, sir, you have powers too. Shut up. Some could call themselves a hero and still walk around killing dozens. Someone else could be labeled a villain for trying to stop them. Plenty of humans were monstrous, and plenty of monsters knew how to play at being human. The difference between Victor and Eli, he suspected, wasn't their opinion on EOs. It was their reaction to them. Eli seemed intent to slaughter them, but Victor didn't see why a useful skill should be destroyed just because of its origins. I was getting X-Men vibes from this, and it was great. Please let me know if you read it, and I will catch you in the next one.